not being in the right situation. Look at this, you
I'm
guys.
trying to turn off the Wi-Fi. Leave me alone.
This guy's like right now, he's messaging his entire family. I need everybody to be off Wi-Fi right now. Just give me these 30 minutes. Kids, Wi-Fi off, subscription on iPads off, everybody on airplane mode. Let me get this one moment to just be able to enjoy the Wi-Fi for once in my life. Dunn, is that the real honest to God truth? What's happening right now? Is that what you're doing?
Don't tell nobody.
I used to have that same feeling. If you guys ever knew this, back in 2012, I didn't have a job for a year, and I literally was unemployed. And I used to steal the neighbor's internet. This is when you can like sign in unsecure. I literally was living off of like unemployment, which was like $1,800 a month. So I was waiting for the right job to come around, and I literally was living off the neighbor's internet. And Don, I know exactly how you feel right now, bro. Not that you're living off the neighbor's internet, even though you might be. I mean, I don't know, dude. We got to talk about this. Like, this is serious. We got to see what's going on here, buddy.
No,
Are you taking the neighbor's
no.
internet right now? What's going on over here, Don?
I was, but I got a new router, man, and I guess it's not good. No bueno.
No bueno. This guy's
So I
got
gotta. This is like the third one I've tried. Some of you guys know I'm in the garage, so
yeah.
the Wi-Fi signal is wonky, and I can't get a straight up Ethernet in here.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'll probably have to call the tech support, get a guy out here to do something.
Tech support. We're gonna have to get somebody out there to get this internet stuff taken care of. I'm gonna have to actually get a hold of your neighbor and be like, hey, bro, did you know that Dunn is like tapped into your Wi-Fi right now? You need to secure that and make sure you put a passcode and it's not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, come on.
Oh, shoot.
Come on, guys. No, I mean, I'm just messing with you, bro. But you guys, sorry, this is how Dunn and I usually just talk, and you guys are getting a chance to filter into it. Does that feel weird to you, Dunn, that I'm like talking to you normal and we're in front of like thousands of people? No.
That makes me feel more comfortable. Like we're just regular dudes. So
yeah, we are just regular dudes. A little psychopathic in a couple ways, but we are definitely regular dudes. Which is a good thing, right? Because I think that's relatable. But today, you guys, I'm super excited because we're not going to be talking about Dunn's internet anymore. We're going to be talking about questions and answers and all the other good stuff that comes along with these beautiful things called midterm rentals. And for those of you that are first timers here today, I'm Jesse Vasquez. I've been operating midterm rentals since 2015, before they were cool. I've been able to do some cool stuff in this space and help other people just like you guys get involved in the midterm rental space. I own 20-something properties across California and the beautiful state of Texas. And my buddy Dunn was in Southern California. Now where are you at now, Dunn? In Arizona?
I'm in Arizona. I just moved out. I keep saying I just moved out here. I've been here for almost 2 years now.
2 years.
I'm Dela Cruz, entrepreneur. That's what I like to call myself. Someone who had no clue on how to start in this space not too long ago. Now I serve families nationwide with my corporate housing business, using furnished rentals as a tool for financial freedom. And I get to coach as well inside Air Venture Academy.
Yeah, Dunn has been with me now for what, 2 years, Dunn? Coaching folks?
Going on 2.5, yeah.
Is it 2.5, dude?
I think so, man.
Oh my God, dude, time is like insane right now. Like I can't even. I mean, I remember when I was stealing my neighbor's Wi-Fi, just like you, and now here we are, like a decade later, and I'm just living, dude. So that's cool. I mean, I honestly I don't realize it's been that fat. Like that's a long time, kind of, right?
Yep. Dude, it's crazy. I remember when you would tell me in the beginning, like when I first started working with you, you're like, yeah, dude, I've been doing this for 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. I haven't taken a vacation, just grinding. And I'm like, that's crazy, right? This was in the beginning when I was new. And then now 4 years later, 5 years later, I'm like, dude, where did the time go? Because when you're just swinging, you're going, time is passing you. So
yeah. And speaking of that, like I just recorded a podcast on this not that long ago. I don't want to go too much in detail on it, but Dunn's absolutely right. Like I've changed my philosophy on the way that I look at things. I had Dan Martell at the Midterm Rental Summit that many of you came to, and I really am grateful for you guys coming out. And I had an interview with him at the end, which was one of my favorite things about this, being in the position that I'm in. I get to sit with, these extremely high net worth, high performing individuals. And I get to learn some cool stuff. And not only that, but I get to bring it to you guys, the things that I learn. And if you guys haven't, go listen to the podcast. It's with Dan Martell, the JV Pod. It's a podcast that I have, and it's on my YouTube channel. But he talks about the word grinding, and he talks about how he doesn't use that word anymore because it's kind of tough. It's like, I think we've all been kind of romanticizing the word grind in a lot of ways. Like Alex Hormozy, like, grind, you got 24 hours in a day, make this happen, blah, 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 blah. Like, you got to make stuff go. Dunn just talked about working for the last, I've literally been nonstop, no vacations for 5 years. Like, I'm burnt out. Like, I'm at the mode where I'm like literally burning out. And I think that, I think I talked about this with my students a couple weeks ago. That I am in a position now where I'm like transferring the way I operate and what I've done and how I've like the word grind to more of a transformative Dan Martell kind of thought process where I was doing a lot so much that I like was sacrificing. This is the crazy part about being an entrepreneur. And I hate the word entrepreneur because I say it wrong. I say poo in the middle. Like I say entrepreneur and so entrepreneur, which is like the weirdest freaking word on the like who says it like that, dude? First off. And I uh I realize now that like nobody tells you these things, but like you'll get to a point where you will literally be burnt out if you do not prioritize like taking care of yourself, which is such a cliche thing to say. But again, romanticizing that idea of grinding and just doing a lot. And I'm in a position now where I'm like literally burnt out, like where I'm like being able to be open and honest about it and talk about what I wish I would have done differently. You know, like where Dunn's at in his career right now, 3 years in. And entrepreneurship is not for the faint of heart. It is, I think that this position that I'm in now, a lot of people get into. It could be 3 years, it could be 5 years, it could be 7 years. But at some point, you have to look at your trajectory and where you're going and where you want to be mentally and emotionally, because this work, like, it's a lot of work. I think people don't realize that when you create something, it takes something from somewhere else. And for me, that was like family time. That was spending time with my friends, and there's certain trade-offs that you have to give. And I think that for me, before I go down this rabbit hole a little bit deeper, that there's these trade-offs, but also you get to realize like what's important, what's not important. And I think a lot of us start off with chasing money, chasing something, whether that's money, that's a business that's that people know about, whether that's people knowing about you, whatever it is you're chasing. At some point, you're going to get that, and you have to eventually evaluate like, what is my next move? What am I here to do? What is my why? And the crazy thing is, your why is going to change. Like your why is not always going to be the same as what it is. Like what you started off 5 years ago or 10 years ago could be something completely different now. And I'm going through that. And it's a very I actually want to continue talking about it. I know it's weird for people to hear. Like, I don't call myself a influencer at all in any way, but somebody that's like going through the thick of it. I think it's so refreshing, man. Like, I really do, to be able to hear somebody that people look at and be like, "Oh man, this guy's like got it all figured out." Like, I don't. I have barely anything figured out. But what I have figured out is that I'm realizing that I've burnt myself very thin, and I do not want any of you guys to go through this because it's tiring, it's consuming. But again, I wish I did things different, like prioritizing myself, prioritizing family needs, and again the romanticizing, what it's like to grind and like just knowing that you have to continue to do it. Yes, you do, like to a certain degree, but there's seasons to everything done. And I think that's what I'm realizing now. You're gonna have a season for grinding. You're gonna have a season for I don't want to use the word grinding anymore. Transforming, like transformative. You're molding yourself into the person that you want to be, and sometimes that requires a lot of work, and there's trade-offs that come along with it. But at a certain point, you have to make sure that you understand that you're going to hit a wall, and when you hit a wall, you better make sure that you have support, and you better make sure that you figure things out that are according to yourself and not what everybody else is doing. And I think that right there is one of the biggest, most important lessons that I've been learning over the last. I've been kind of going through this mode for like probably about a month and some change. Right after the summit was a massive take for me in a lot of ways. It's a lot of energy to be dispersed. And it hit me literally right there. It was just like, oh my gosh, you're doing so many things, and you got to reevaluate what's important, what's not, and start to shave the things off that give you, that take your energy, and give things back that replenish your energy. And I think that's important to talk about, man. I don't think very many people talk about it. Tanisha said the only way people know it's okay to talk about it is for people to actually talk about it. 100%, Tanisha, I'm with you. In fact, Tanisha and I had a pretty long conversation in our class a couple weeks ago, where I literally opened up the class for 40 minutes and talked about this, because I think again, I wish I knew this earlier, and so many people don't talk about it. I think it's important to know. I'm sorry that I'm bringing this up in the first 10 minutes, but I just want you guys to be aware of what not to do. And Dunn, you're in a position right now, and you're going through that whole grind moment or transformative
Yeah,
moment, I'm assuming.
yeah. I mean, dude, like that's so real. I think that grind mode as a start, when you're starting out, absolutely. right? Because we're
Oh
coming
yeah.
from a
Have
whole
to.
different world. Yeah, right. But just like you said, there's a time when I like to think of it as like a checkpoint, right? Where moving along in your journey. You have your head down, you're grinding, but you need to slow down and reassess. Make sure you're headed towards the right direction. You are doing the right things, and it's hard to do that when you're not surrounded with the right people,
Mhm.
right? There's this one quote from, I'm probably messing it up, from J. Cole's, from his song, where he says something like, "The good news is you came a long way. The bad news is you went the wrong way." And that's the last thing we want to do. So have those checkpoints in your journey. Make sure you're surrounded with the right people. I'm grateful, not just Jesse, but our entire community. We all hold each other accountable and, keep us aligned. So that's super key for sure.
Yeah, for sure. I think being burnt out is it comes to a lot of us in a lot of different ways, and that could be mentally, emotionally, all things at the same time. And
Yeah.
I think that again, we kind of like ditch those feelings a lot of times. Like we just slide them under the rug because it's part of what you're supposed to be doing. But again, I think when you first start off, that grind mode is like you got to be very thoughtful on it. But then there comes a point where you have to start reevaluating what that actually is, what that feels like, and how you can start to plan ahead. And what I mean by that is like, have people that you're communicating with on a regular basis, plan time for yourself, like actually literally put it in a calendar and say, a date night with my wife at this time on these days, spending time with my family, taking them fishing Friday 2 p.m. with the boys, pulling them out of school on a certain day if that's something you want to do. Like I once a month I'll pull my kids out of school individually and take them somewhere. And I got astray of that for a long time. So again, I think that there comes a point where you hit a wall because you're just on this constant grind for something. And that something could be more. I think, again, a lot of entrepreneurs have this mindset of like more, more, more. And the reality of it is you're going to get more and then you're going to want more. And that's just kind of how human nature is. But that's the part right there that's so hard to work through. And I think there's a lot of learning in that process. I think people have to go through it themselves, but I also think it's really an important piece to have somebody that has been there or is going through it and to talk about it. I think it's really, really cool. But um, yeah, I feel like, again, you guys, when you're building something, it takes a lot out of you. It takes a lot of energy in a lot of different ways. And you also got to be replenished. And that's something to think about as you guys are continuing to build, especially midterm rentals. Like they're not easy. They are not easy. You're spending a lot of money to buy stuff and buy properties and refurbish them and buy furniture. You're expensing a lot of the energy. You got to get that back in some way or another. But I'm telling you guys that now. I'm gonna give some more info on this on the YouTube videos and stuff. But that's what I got for right now, and I'm excited to continue to talk about it because I think it's something I'm going through and it can help somebody for sure. But Don, let's go into the Q&A stuff, man. You want to
Let's
jump into it?
do it. Yeah, man. I pulled up some posts, some most recent posts on the Facebook group, just a little bit, and then if we got time, which we should, we'll do live Q&A from you guys. So let me share my screen.
Yeah, and if anybody has any questions right now, you guys can drop them in the chat box wherever you're watching this at. Just put it in the chat box. I'm here monitoring the Facebook group, and then we can also see what is going on in the YouTube live, which is here right now. Cam, what's up, Cam? We got Cam in here. Marcella says,
Kim.
"What's up, guys? Hey, guys, glad to be here. Good advice." She's digging the don't burn yourself out advice, which again is very important, you guys. I'm going through it now as I'm continuing to build, and it's a fun, exciting, and scary at the same time, which is good. I'm learning something new. It's a
Love
new
it.
level, new devil.
All righty. So before we start sharing the screen and showing you the Facebook post, I want to remind you guys for the MTR code, just three things. The MTR code is to help us grow this community so that we can all improve in this MTR space. All right. So it's really simple. Number one, show up weekly, whether it's live or a replay. Just stay close in the room. Be intentional with your growth, with your education. Drop a question, post like all the other folks in our group that's posting. Don't just be a doom scroller, right? Get involved, ask those questions so you get the help that you need. And then tag someone. If you feel like someone is sitting on the sidelines, show them that it is possible and show them what we're doing here and that they could get the help, the guidance. And again, skip that doom scrolling. So that's the code that
I
we
love
ask of you
it, dude.
guys to do for us.
I love it.
Well,
I
let's
love it. That's
jump
a good
right
code,
in.
bro.
Let's jump right in. All
Let's
right,
do
share
it.
my screen.
First question we got here.
Okay, we got this one. All right, I'm gonna read it. You can see it, right, Jess?
Yeah, I can see it. You're good, Bill.
All right. This one is from Wendy St. Clair. She says, "What would you do? I have a home in California located in a gated community next to a working class Hispanic neighborhood. It's a beautiful home, but to get there, you drive through a multi-family street where many cars are parked and neighbors are often gathered outside. Despite appearances, crime maps confirm the area is very safe. A family booked a home for 34 days, paying a total of 7,500,
Hmm.
including Airbnb fees. They were being displaced. They were displaced due to a fire in their own home. They arrived about a week ago, but immediately said they didn't like the area. They claimed that the metal door between the garage and the home made it feel unsafe and said that they had seen that. If they had seen that, they would have never booked. They requested a refund, but my cancellation policy is clear. Guests can cancel within the first 48 hours for a full refund. After that, it's non refundable for the first 30 days of reservation. Still, they insisted the listing was misrepresented, claimed the photos weren't mine, and threatened to leave a bad review. I explained that the listing and photos are accurate and that the home is perfectly safe. After several stressful days and hours of communication, I decided to refund them 2,000 out of compassion, despite it being my high season and despite not being obligated to do so. Now, a week later, I've re rented the property. Technically, I've made up the lost income, but it took me over 20 hours to rebook, and I went through a lot emotionally. Given that they were going through a personal crisis and I've now rebooked the home, would you give them more money back or have I already gone above and beyond? I want to be kind and fair, but I also have to protect my business and my boundaries. Airbnb said that they'd help dispute any bad reviews if it came to that, but it's still uneasy. What would you do?
What would Jesus do? Refund the whole thing, because
Yep.
at the end of the day, that's me personally. Done.
Yep.
And when you're dealing with displaced family, first off, you guys should always walk a family through a home, so this does not happen. And this is what
Yep.
sucks about working with Airbnb. And Wendy, my thought process would be, how do we keep this family happy, and also how do we actually build a relationship with this company, right? Like, how do we continue to build with them? That would be my thought. The
Yep.
relocation specialist. But again, this is like your business. You guys get to operate your business the way you want. You know, you really, really do. But that's just
Yep.
something that I would do personally. I don't know. But Airbnb's different, man. Because like again, you're in a different animal here. It's like, what do you actually want to do with your business,
Yeah.
right? Dunn, what's your thoughts on that? This is a tough one.
Yeah, this was jam packed, Wendy, for sure. Like
Yeah,
you mentioned a lot of things here, and I'm gonna try to stay on course here. I agree with Jesse 100%. I would have given the funds back.
the full refund
Maybe, yeah, maybe just charge
deposit.
them for the 2 days they were there,
Hmm.
right? I could do that. That's fair. They're there if they were there for 2 days. I don't know how many days they stayed, but if they left that same day, I'll just give them the full refund, right? Um, it's hard, especially you mentioned emotionally. That stood out for me. One thing that I have to press on, and this ties in a lot with what was Jesse saying in the beginning, building a business, how hard it is, and the burnout.
Hmm.
Emotionally is part of it.
Hmm.
Emotionally is part of building the business. It's just being mindful of not letting your emotions make the decisions, right? So you
Yeah.
do have to pause and slow down whenever you're in situations like this. Leverage the Facebook group, but definitely give the money back.
What
And I
kind of
would even
responses
try,
were in there, dude? Is there a way to look at
huh?
you look at the responses that people had in that? Thank you.
Let's see. Let's
I'm
see.
actually curious to what people wrote in here. What the response. I don't actually think there's a right or wrong answer to this, to be honest with you.
Let me
I
see.
really don't. I think there's individual kind of obstacle. This is a really good this is a really good scenario
Yeah.
for a lot of people to learn a lot of stuff. First again, I'm going to go back to this again. Always make sure you guys are walking people through a property. Like it's just so important, and you're getting
Yep.
familiar with the family. You're learning a lot about them, and they're going to see things they like and they don't like. And I'm curious if the family booked this themselves or the insurance company did. Do we
It
have any?
sounds like it was a family. because they didn't mention
Got it.
any relo specialist or anything. But yeah, there has been a lot of folks that helped out and responded here.
Yeah.
Amanda Vasquez, she's frequent in our group. She's extremely helpful. Um, she said she helped out and said, let's see what she.
Oh,
If
here.
they stayed for a few days, I do partial refund. Yep, there you
Yeah.
go. For nights fee cleaning, if they literally parked their car outside and was like, no,
Mhm.
sure, full refund, no hard feelings. Yeah, there you go. When vetting potential tenants, when you find out they are from an insurance claim, I always give them the neighborhood cross street where the home is located to make sure it works for them. Don't let anyone threaten you with a bad review. Agreed
Yeah.
100%, Amanda.
Yeah.
When they make visible threats, you can have it removed. You
Yeah.
technically didn't even have to give them anything back, but you're being a good person in doing so. It's all business. No need to get emotional. Dude, Amanda, where are you at?
Yeah. Yeah. Tanisha's got some stuff in here. Remember this post back then a while back? Cleaning fee, clean the place after they left. Yeah, totally clean.
Yeah.
This is a tough one. I think this is like I think there's some ethical standards you got to think about that your own morale, your own morale of how you operate on here. But also with business, there's like a line there that you got to be thoughtful on. Um,
Mhm.
I don't know. I don't really know, man. Like again, I personally probably would have gave money back. Um, but I would have been trying to build a relationship with the family. But then they also booked on Airbnb directly. So it's like when you go that route, dude, like they're taking that on themselves. They're not walking through the home, they're not doing all that stuff.
Mhm.
So man, that's a tough one. I don't really know if there's a right or wrong way to do that now that I'm thinking
Yeah.
about it. But I think this is a good learning lesson for Wendy and a lot of other people now. Hopefully,
Yeah.
folks can get a good understanding of this because um, there's a lot of potential for the relationship part of this. I think would be so important if you got the hold of the adjuster or the relocation specialist and you're able to walk them through. Like they see that as goodwill. Now that's the ability for you now to build a long lasting relationship with somebody that most people would not give any money back at all. They would keep it. Like a lot of people are
Yeah.
just like, this is how I operate my business. This is how I operate my business. Bye, see you later. But man, this is a really good. This was really good, Dunn. Wendy,
Yeah.
sorry you had to go through that, but this is a lot of learning for a lot of people.
Yeah. I think I think you did a good.
You're
She
good.
refunded the funds, you know. So I
Yeah.
think you're good, Wendy. Just moving forward, let's just be mindful because if this you find yourself in this situation again, right? We don't want to repeat it. We got to make sure that we're
Yeah.
happy. We don't feel emotional like you've thought this out. So, as painful as this was a blessing for yourself and your business. Like this
Yeah.
had to happen. So,
Yeah. It's a good learning lesson. It really, really is. I've never had this happen, dude. Actually, I'm lying. I've had this happen with an attorney one time. There's a guy that lost his home in my market, and I talked to an adjuster that I knew personally. He called me and said, "Hey, I got an attorney that wants to stay at your house." Keep in mind, this attorney had $1 million property in Central California, which is like a big ass house, and he came to my house, which was like 550, not $1 million house. So when he got in there, he was there for a few days and was just like, "This place is not what I expected it to be." Like, I mean, it's nice, but it's not like $1 million nice. It's like $500,000 nice. There's a big difference there. And I gave him his money back, and he took off. But that relationship, I became even tighter with the adjuster because of
yep.
that refund. And that to me is like I look at this longer term of the relationship being worth more. But again, they're booking on Airbnb, done. So it's like you almost got to cancel that out if you're not looking at this like an actual business and you're just kind of like taking the Airbnb operations and using that focal point. It's like I don't know, man. That's a tough one. But I think you
Yeah.
did the right thing. Giving something back, I think was important
Yeah.
to do so. And I don't think again
For
there's
sure.
right or wrong way, but for next time what you're gonna do in that situation.
Yeah, for sure. I think Tanisha said it, maybe Tanisha or Amanda, but the walkthrough is super important,
Oh
especially
yeah,
for midterm stays.
got
Like
to.
super.
So important. Yeah, you got to walk somebody through the family. You got to walk the family through every time. Like it's just so
Yep.
important. But again, you can't do that on Airbnb. But yeah, that was a good question. That was really good. What else we got done?
We got Jennifer Kimberly. Hi, I'm a newbie host. Got my first MTR booking in March with a corporate housing company. They
Nice.
handled everything digitally and the tenants were great. Now it's my turn. I'm getting many leads. My question is, how do you handle applications and lease digitally? I paid for key check but don't like their lease. I want to use my own docs and have them sign digitally. DocuSign, maybe? Suggestions are welcome. Jesse,
Yeah.
what do you like using?
I'm a big Turbo Tenant guy. I've always liked Turbo Tenant. Yes, I'm affiliated with them. I like their product. I've always liked it. It's easy. I don't want to deal with my own forms and do my own stuff and deal with DocuSign. I'd rather it just be done in one spot. Payments can be done in one spot. And that's why I like it. And again, the thing
Oh,
about these, like, you can use any software for this. You just got to
yep,
find what resonates with you. What about you, man?
yep. Yeah, same thing. Turbo tenant makes it easy. I'm not tech savvy at all. It feels like it's holding my hand. They follow state specific leases, state to state. So if you're operating nationwide, so you're good there. Plus, the favorite part that I like is because we're in the midterm space, there's a lot of extensions, right? Or sometimes they got to leave early. So we have that addendum section where you could literally just drop
Mm-hmm.
the file of the addendum in Turbo Tenant. Makes it easy for us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I
totally,
like
dude.
that.
I'm with you on that. Yeah, that's a good question too. There's so much software out there. Just whatever works for you guys. I think that's
Yeah.
really at the end of the day. Like, there's just
Yep.
so much.
Yep. I've tried a lot. I've tried a lot until I landed at Turbo Tenant. So I think it's also depends on you. Like, what do
Yeah,
you,
I'm
as
there,
far
bro.
as ease?
I
All
know.
right, let's see what we got.
What's easy for you to use? What else you got here, buddy?
Let's see.
Ruby
I
host.
know.
I see the
Um,
Jennifer one. Is that the same one from Jennifer?
yeah, that's the same
I
one.
got some
Oh,
questions
there it
here.
is.
I got questions here if you
Okay.
want to take the calls on
Yeah,
we have some questions that people are asking. You want to do that, or you
yeah,
want to
let's
take?
go for that one.
Okay,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
cool. Um, Cam's got a really good question here, dude. This is like, I'm gonna take this off. What's up, Cam? Cam's actually was on a podcast with me probably about 3 weeks ago. Check out the JV pod with Cam Carrozza. This is a really good question. I like that picture you got there, Cam. It's a fresh one, bro. What was the tipping point for you to make a decision to go full time? I feel like I'm close but freaked out. Dunn, you want to talk about that?
Yeah. Well, for me, mine was kind of different. I was forced into this. I was in electrical construction. That was where all my chips were. Went to school for it, traveled a lot. Anyways, I injured myself, had my third knee surgery, and ended my career. So my wife was pregnant at the time with the twin boys, and she had to pick up a second job just to support the family. I was a mess. So I was forced into real estate and take this serious with the head down and just running, that grind mode. And that was my position. So I was forced to go full time.
Yeah, I was forced to in a different way. I was forced in a way where I worked for a company that was bouncing checks, and I was already doing midterm rentals for 5 or 6 years, and I was making 200 grand, and I knew that there was something more for me. Like, I wasn't happy. I had Tony Robbins talks about success without fulfillment. I had that, and I needed to do more for myself. And I lost my dad a couple years before that, and it really pushed me to just to do more with myself. And that right there, I think, is why I ended up doing it.
Yep.
But Cam, you got to fill it out for yourself, man. You got to I think you have to put a plan together. Don't just leave your job like I did, like all willy nilly, like a freaking maniac. You got to be thoughtful on it. I wish I did that. Put a plan together, talk about it with your wife, and then just do it, bro. I think once you do it, there's a different level of energy that comes out of you because you're not. Stuff hits different when you don't get a check on the first and the 15th. We'll put it out that way, and you'll go into a different gear.
Yeah.
Whenever you're ready for that. And I think everybody's going to come to that point. And the crazy thing about it is you can always go get another job afterwards. Like, you're not stuck to not work ever. Like, you can go get a job. Again,
Yeah.
you're skilled, Cam. You have a lot of skills. You're good at with people. Like, you have great communication skills. You're going to be able to get a job anywhere you want to in your life. Like, and you have to be confident enough to know that. And I think if you have that in the back of your mind, and you just do something that you want to do, give yourself time. Give yourself the position to do it. Get support around your family, and then
Love
pick a
that.
date, and then just freaking do it, man. And
Yeah.
that's it. I think it's just one of those things about just doing it. You got to feel like you're ready for it. And I think once you're there, you're ready getting there, it's time.
Yep.
Don't overthink it, except overthink it a lot. I
Yeah.
love that. Don't overthink. I
Yeah.
sound like freaking Bob Dylan right now with his quotes. He's always like, yeah, everything's fine, but everything's nothing. And I'm like, wait, what the hell's happening right now, Bob Dylan?
Trust me, but don't trust me.
Exactly.
Like,
Yeah.
what?
He's like, one of my favorite lines he has is like, I know who I am, whoever that is. And he's like, it's such a good line, dude. Like, I know who I am. And he's like, whoever that is. And it's just like, it's because it makes sense. Like, it's true. It really is true, like in some certain way. But yeah, man, you just got to, like, if you get this feeling, your gut's telling you something, your heart's telling you something, your soul's telling you something, listen, put a plan
Yeah.
together and move.
Yeah, for sure. I think Cam with that plan together, um, it's like running numbers, dude. It's like, what's the worst case scenario? Can we keep our head above water with the income that's coming in?
Mhm.
And then on top of that, if we need to bring extra income, what are money making activities that I know I can execute as like, the safety net. And that same thing that Jesse said, that, just know and trust yourself, that if anything, you could always get a job. Now, that's not the goal, but if you have to, there's jobs out there,
Yeah,
right?
there really is. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, there really is. Here's another one. You want to read this one, Dunn?
Yeah.
From Andrea?
Let's see. Burnout is real, from Andrea. I went through that in a prior business, so having more checks and balances for this journey is important to me. Air Venture has been good support so far. Let's go, Andrea.
Yeah, Andrea's in our community, and she's a killer in the space, and definitely
Yeah.
leveraging community is so important. I can't tell you guys that enough. Even myself, as one of the people in leadership of the community, I get to leverage my community, which is freaking awesome. Here's one from Jay. Don, you want to read this one, and we can. I'm actually curious in your thoughts on this, brother.
What's a good sales pipeline for clients from initial outreach to getting them booked? Hmm. Interesting. So, like, is this like a cold outreach to insurance claim? How does that look like? Is that the question? Or am I thinking too deep into this?
Yeah, I think she's just trying to talk about like how does she get clients from like initial outreach to getting them to book. Like, how is she going to get somebody from, you know, calling a construction company or something like that? I think that's what it
Yeah.
sounds like.
Yeah. So you got to stick to them. You got to stick to them. It's not just a one-time call and say, "Yeah, we have traveling construction crews, but we don't have any projects today," right? And then most of the time, most folks will put it in the back burner. They'll forget. They don't have a CRM. They don't have a Rolodex phone book, a list of target clients, and they never nurture them. So absolutely do weekly check-ins with them. Like, hey, just checking in if there's anything that I could help you with. On the insurance side, it's hard to determine like when someone's house is going to burn up, right? So just
Yeah.
letting them know that you have the resources and you're here ready to help them, not get your units booked. That's the different approach. Um, and then you're just ready. You stay ready so you don't have to get ready. On the insurance side, for construction, when you're talking to like project managers, HR folks, right? They might not have a project for you today. Everything's good. Just ask them like, what do you have coming up in the future?
Yeah.
Right? Because they line that up. So just ask qualifying questions. That's really what I would say.
Yeah, I agree. And follow up. Don't be afraid to continue to follow up with them. I think that's really important to
Yeah.
do. Let's see here. Cam says good stuff, not quitting. And he said that he's going to sell feet pics, Cam. Cam's going to sell his feet to get extra income. That's pretty cool. Cam, you have to send me and Dunn a picture first. We're going to tell you if you got Sasquatch feet and be like, bro, it's not going to work for you, dude. If
I
we see those
love it.
feet, Cam, we're going to tell you, brother. So send those feet pictures over to Dunn first. He's going to evaluate, and then we'll put them to the community. We'll actually do a poll. Should Cam go online with these feet pics? Yes or no? And Cam, we'll put a poll out there for you, brother. But you got this, dude. You got this, dude. I believe in you tremendously. This is what's cool about our community. Like we can like BS and like these guys are fun. Cam's awesome. I love you, bro.
I love it.
James is laughing at Cam too. Look at this. Wow, Cam. James is another member of our community, which is he's laughing at Cam. I think Cam might be serious right now. Cam, I don't know, bro. Are you
Hey,
serious?
you got to do what you got to do to get started.
As long as you don't got crazy feet, Cam, we're good, brother. All right. So, oh goodness, that's funny.
needed
Tanisha
that.
just brought up. I'm placing a total burn house claim fire tomorrow. Hell to the yes. Way to go. That is amazing. Not amazing for the family, obviously, but amazing that you're
Yeah.
able to take care of them in that way, and that you're able to build a relationship with people. And I think that's the other thing too, is like people don't realize like there's such an emotional piece to this, which like we were talking about this earlier with Wendy. There's a heavy emotional burden that comes along with this stuff. It's really a cool thing that we're able to do for a lot of people, is be able to help them in the ways that we do, which I think is pretty freaking awesome. So Tanisha, congrats. Would love to hear more about that. In fact, I'm trying to get Tanisha to come into this call with us so she can talk about this with us, or we just do one day where we just have Tanisha on, who's an expert, has been in this space for some time.
Oh, yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Tanisha's a big dog for sure.
She
Yeah, we
is.
got to get you next week at least, Tanisha.
Yeah, let's
We're
get you.
getting you next week.
Yeah, I'm gonna send you the link and stuff. I sent her a podcast link. Cam is laughing because maybe his feet are busted up. Cam, is that what's going on? Cam, is that what's going on, buddy? You have to tell us, bro. You're gonna have to tell
Uh,
us. All right, what else we got? I don't see any other questions on here, but I do see. I know that we have a couple more that were in the Facebook group. Done. You got those? We'll go
yeah,
back to them
I
right now.
do. Let's go back to
Today's been a funny. First off, we open up about me being burnt out, and then we talk about Wendy's problem, and then we talk about Cam's feet. The- This has been an episode filled of lots of stuff. Oh goodness.
Let's go. All righty. We got, you can see the screen, right? Let me
Yeah, I
see.
can see. You're
Yeah.
good, bro.
Okay. So this one's from Ant Bar. Just got incoming lead from Zillow, 18-month stay
Yeah.
for my Fontana spot. She's
18.
asking to tour mid-June, but I have an Airbnb guest June 12 to 17. Okay. For those who have secured MTR leases through Zillow, how do you handle overlapping STR bookings when a serious MTR inquiry comes in?
Oof, that's another really good question, man. I love these. This is a good call today. I'm curious on your thoughts on this, Dunn. I have my first thought is why the hell is somebody staying for 18 months and not just renting a property? Like, why not just rent a place if you're going to be staying for that's what is it, almost 2 years?
Mhm,
Why stay in a furnished place and pay the? I'm curious of that.
mhm.
Um, anyway, yeah, that's just my first thought. Go ahead, Dunn. What's your thoughts on this?
Yeah. So lots of different ways to skin the cat here, right? Clearly, if you don't, it sounds like Ant doesn't have a local database. He's not friends with the operators down the street in his, neighborhood, because that's usually what I would do. I would lead connect. I'll just alley oop pass a renter to the operator literally down the street from my unit, right? That's not my competitor. We collaborate for situations exactly like this, so then I could continue serving the relationships I already have. Because if you do the hybrid method, which that's what Ant is doing, that's why he's running into this
Yeah.
conundrum. Have friends, be friends with those operators next to you. There's other strategies, but it's a little more complex. We dive deep in that in the program. But for now, just try to find another operator down the street that you trust. You got to vet them. This is not a knee jerk reaction, and see if you could pass on that short-term rental
Okay.
guests that you have. But before you even do that, you need to secure the MTR. And MTR is not secure, that inquiry 18-month stay, unless checks and contracts are signed.
Yeah, Tanisha wrote the same thing too. I still don't trust the 18-month request without more details, and I said that on the post. Yeah, that's kind of sketch. Um, that's kind of sketch. Why were you abusing cats, skinning cats? Yeah, that's such a weird topic to bring up, skinning cats. I never liked that saying. I think I say it a lot though. But that was my ADHD coming out. Did you guys hear that? Like, I just went from cats to this conversation here. I feel like Theo Vaughn right now, except not as funny. You know what's
Why
crazy?
are we abusing cats?
It's just getting the cat conversation that you brought up earlier. This is 18 months scares me. Second off, Dunn's right. If you're able to pass that referral off 12 to, I mean, you're going to probably make, I'm assuming, maybe $600 or $700. But also, you could just say, hey, can you come in on the 17th to check out the place after 4 p.m.? Because that's when, or after 3 p.m., whenever your cleaning crew's done. Like, we create more problems than we need to in this space. So I would be like, how do I solve this problem first? My first one would be, what are you staying here for 18 months for? Where are you working? Who's that company? Start to do a little bit of research on it, find out about the person, go look them up on Facebook, like go do a little bit of work of figuring that stuff out. And then, yeah, have them come on the 17th. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, or the 13th, or whatever date that you weren't going to be there. I think there's a couple things that you could do there. So there's a lot of ways you could figure this part out. But Dunn's right on the moving the guest if you need to another person that you feel comfortable with. It does suck canceling guests. I've done it before. I'm going to continue to do it. At the end of the day, just like we talked about with Wendy, it is our business to operate our business in the way that we please. If I have a 3-day booking or a 3-month booking, I'm obviously going to take the 3-month booking, even if it's halfway through. Somebody's already booked out, months in advance. But this is where I leverage the community, just like Dunn said. I will either hopefully A, have a property that I can move them to myself that I own. B, I can co-host other properties where I can move them into a co-hosting property. Or C, I could just connect with somebody on this group that's in the same market and pass that referral off to them. It's not that difficult to solve. But again, this is a newbie question, and I hear this question often. But don't be afraid to ask for the dates that you need. 12 to 17 is, what is that, 5 days? You can definitely make them, accommodate your schedule. And keep in mind, they're also reaching out to other people, so they may be touring other properties. But that's a long booking, and I'm with you on getting that done. But I'd be curious on why. Sorry to make that long-winded, but it's just my 2 cents on this whole conversation. Is more like 28 cents if you ask me. A couple dimes, a nickel, and some pennies, bro.
Love it, love it. All right, next one is from Shauna. She's out in Oregon,
Look at this
and
guy.
this is just an appreciation post. That's
Yeah, I love
really
it.
what it is. She's out here
Love it.
turning over a property. No bad news. Everything went lovely, but she brought her son with her to help out with the turnover, and I think that's really cool. I do this with me. I did this in LA, no, in yeah, somewhere in LA. When I launched the unit, I brought my kids with me, help me, put it together just so they could see, right? They could feel it, not so much force feeding them real estate investing and all that stuff, but just the work. And I think this was cool. That's why I had to give Sean a shout out. And he's rocking the MTR Summit shirt. So
So
got to represent.
yeah, I think there's something really amazing about letting your kids. Dan Martell said this at the summit, and I keep bringing him up because I had such a transformative conversation with him. He said that every kid is homeschooled, and I didn't really know what that meant. But what he means is like what monkey see, monkey do. Like we're always going to be able to, um, like our kids are always absorbing what we're doing, and I think it's so cool to be able to do something for yourself that at the end of the day is for your family, and that's what an entrepreneur is about. Like that's you're doing all these things for not only like employing other people, but you're teaching your kids and your family and other people around you like anything is possible if you decide to do it. I find so much magic in that. So Shauna, I think it's really amazing that you bring your kids to do these things. I take my kids as much as I can, even when they don't want to do things, because I think it's important for them to experience what it's actually like to create something for yourself. And again, I do believe that we're homeschooling our kids, whether we like to believe it or not, because they're learning what we're doing when we're operating
Yep.
already normally. And again, this goes back to my burnout scenario. These are things that you sacrifice, like when you create a business. Like sometimes you're sacrificing time, you're missing soccer games or whatever it is. Like there's just stuff that happens like that. And this is where it's really important to reevaluate, your time and things. But I love this. I think that's first off a cool shirt, and your son looks awesome doing that stuff. So keep doing it. I love it. I love it.
Love it. All
Cam,
righty.
Cam does the same thing. Look at this. I love bringing my kids to all our furnishing projects.
Yep.
Cam, poor kids, man. That is a freaking nightmare. That's like the worst part of MPR is the furnishing part. And I'm glad you're bringing them to that.
Yeah.
'Cause that is that's like, dude, that's a lot of energy. I bring my kids to that stuff too, and they're just like, "Why am I here, Dad?" And I'm just like, "Shh," and grab boxes.
Screwdriver.
Get the
We're
screwdriver.
building.
Start putting some stuff together. Figure it out. You'll be fine. Don't worry about it. We'll get you pizza later.
All righty. This one's a quick drop, latest podcast from one of our very own students in the group. And I
Yeah,
love this
this is a
couple.
good one. Yeah,
So,
they're super
guys,
cool.
check this podcast out. That's all we
Yeah,
got, man.
yeah, that's to do. Today was really, really, actually, really fun. Some really good questions that you guys are putting in the Facebook group, and like Dunn talked about this earlier. The more questions that you guys put out in the free Facebook group or in our community, it not only teaches us some things, we get to answer those questions and also have these discussions that we haven't had in a long time. Which I think it's pretty cool when you have people that have been in this space for a while that kind of give their feedback. Um, I don't know. I think it's powerful. So I'm encouraging you guys to continue to leave messages on the free Facebook group for everybody that showed up today. Tanisha, Cam, everybody out there, you guys are awesome. I think it's really cool to be in a space to be able to communicate and connect with everybody. And again, these questions are so helpful, not just to me, but everybody out there that are listening to this. So continue to do so. Continue to connect. Check out the JV pod, like we talked about earlier. It's my podcast that I have, which Dunn's all on as well. He comes on here and talks about stuff, or he's been on there a few times. But there's a lot of information about midterm rentals and just you know building and continuing to grow. That's what we do on the podcast. We talk about the hardships, the fun things, the wins, and what it's like to build something success. To build something that's we consider successful. Everybody has a different success level barometer for whatever they believe success is, and yeah, man, I'm just excited to be here and to help other people that are doing the same thing that we're doing here. And it's not easy. Like this is a rough go, you guys. It's hard to build a business. It's hard to build a midterm rental business. It's hard to build anything, but anything hard is worth doing, in my opinion. It's fun, and that's what it's all about. Don, what's your thoughts on that, bro?
I agree, dude. Lean on the hard. If you're doing something, if it's hard, that means you're headed towards something right. Obviously, have the right people around you to make sure you are going towards the right direction, like we mentioned earlier. But yeah, it's part of it. The burnout, the hard, the emotion. It's all part of it, right?
Yeah.
It's just us finding the way to create harmony, through
Yeah.
the journey.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. If you guys are interested in actually working with me and Dunn directly, I would encourage you guys to go to airventureacademy.com and fill out an application. If you're actually serious about building a real business in the midterm rental space, I love being around people that have that entrepreneurial mindset to build something successful. We help people go from zero to wherever they decide to go. And we've been able to showcase a lot of people that have been able to go through our community and actually create, 6, 7 figure businesses in a year, and sometimes even less than that. It's pretty freaking amazing to watch, man. To watch people build and do all these things. It's so incredible. So if you guys are interested in that, airventureacademy.com, go fill out the questionnaire, and we'll probably end up on a call with Dunn at some point, talking to him about if this is the right situation for you. So Dunn, any final words or any final thoughts before we get out of here? I know Cam just said he helps his kids put all the beds and nightstands together. That's why they're falling apart, Cam, because your kids are putting them together. He's getting that 12:37 p.m. at night call, a.m. at night call, saying, "Hey, Cam, the bed just fell apart, buddy. What's going on over here?" Right?
I love it, man. That's too good. No, that's it for me, man. Guys, thank you for tapping in today. Again, if something clicked, don't let it sit. Take action on it.
Yeah.
We'll be back next Monday. Jesse, all you, man.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys for being here. This is, again, one of my favorite things to do. And if you guys are feeling stuck, continue to push forward. These types of businesses and anything you're doing, like Dunn said, that takes energy and effort is required. That's what's required for you to build something successful. I do believe everybody has the bandwidth to be able to create something, but you got to get education. You got to get resources, which is what you're doing here now. Don't let this energy go to waste. You're on these calls. You're getting inspired. Get out there and make stuff happen. Make phone calls. Connect with other people that are doing the damn thing, and keep building. We appreciate you guys. Stay safe out there, especially if you're in the Los Angeles area. And we'll see you guys. Done next week on Monday.
Next week with Tanisha.
With Tanisha. We're calling you out, Tanisha.
Calling you out.
All right,
later, all right, y'all. Peace.
Take care, everybody.